So let's go ahead and transition straight into Game Club. Guys,
Yes.
everyone listening to this
Tell them about it.
podcast, every week we play one episode, one chapter, one segment of a video game, and we then talk about it at length on stream. This is called Game Club.
Yes.
We just wrapped Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which was very good.
Yeah, and you gave it a 6
I
out
gave
of
it
10?
a 6. I thought it was very good.
6 is very good?
Well, just all depends. It all depends. 6.
It was
4
like
for the gameplay, 10 for the storyline.
Yeah. Exactly.
6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what I said, 7 or 8. I can't remember. Yeah. That was definitely a story game, not gameplay game.
Yeah. So. And so now we've moved on to Alan Wake, and we are both playing the remastered edition.
This game, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this game came out like over 10 years ago, I think.
Yes, you've already played through it
Yes,
already.
I've beaten Alan Wake before.
Yes.
But I was like, I wanted to re-experience it.
Yeah, this is my first time playing through.
Ooh la la.
Yes. I haven't played a video game like this in years.
Like, what do you mean by
Like
this?
third-person horror.
Yeah, you played a bit of Death Stranding.
I wouldn't say that was...
No, man. Those little demons and stuff, and you're sneaking around.
It's kind of spoopy.
Yeah.
Kind of not.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's way more spoopy.
Yeah, it is. So, like, well, this is like made by Remedy. It stars a dude named Alan Wake. He's a writer. He's got writer's block. He's on vacation going to Good Falls. I can't remember what it's called. He's going to a little city to relax with his wife, and he's hoping to, get the juices flowing, basically.
Well, that's he's not trying to get the juices flowing.
Well,
here.
No.
He's
Everybody wants him to get his juices flowing.
Yeah, he's trying to like not think about writing at all and just like be a person on vacation.
Yes, but everyone's like, hey, it's time to write another book. The checks are getting a little small.
Yeah, so he's actually a really well-known writer.
Yeah, he'd basically be like Stephen King if he was having writer's block, where Stephen King has never had a moment of writer's block in his life.
And let me tell you, everything about this episode that I've played, like, episode 1, I'm like, this is just like a Stephen King novel.
Well, it has a lot of Stephen King stuff to it,
yeah.
and also a lot of Twin Peaks, which I don't think you've ever watched, have you?
No, I've never watched.
There's a lot of stuff where I'll be like, this is just exactly like Twin Peaks. So basically, well, let's start from the start here. Alan Wake, they're driving to...
God, what I can't find, and I'm looking at the walkthrough just so I can be reminded, but I can't find what the hell the village's name is.
Yeah, I can't. I think it's Good Springs or Good Falls, something like that, or Night Springs. No, that's the name of the fake show. I can't remember exactly. But they're on the way to there, and Alan Wake.
Bright Falls.
Bright Falls. There
Bright Falls, Washington.
Yes, and they have. How does it go? He has a. He's having a nightmare, basically.
Yeah, well, they're driving through a tunnel. It's nighttime, and then all of a sudden there's a bum on the road, a hitchhiker on the road, right in the middle of the road, and he smashes straight into him.
And he gets out and is like, "What's going on?" and checks it out. And this is like the introduction to the sort of.
Yeah, this is a kind of our tutorial area.
Yeah, a little bit. It is definitely tutorial because there's the glowing light that's flying around telling you Alan, pick up the flashlights.
Yeah.
But it's all dark and mysterious and moody, and it's Pacific Northwest, there's trees and water running and everything like that. Looks actually pretty dang nice considering it's just a remaster of a over 10-year-old game, basically.
Yeah, they definitely put a lot of effort into redoing all the cutscenes.
No.
No?
No, the cutscenes that's the way they were.
That's the way they were. Wow, those pretty good cutscenes.
So you can definitely tell that it was a 720p video upres because you can see all the artifacts of the blackness, the sort of the the different tones, I guess, of blackness is if you look next time you'll be like, oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look because I was playing it on PC.
Yeah.
In 4K.
Yes, I was playing it on my Xbox, Series X. But no, those are the existing cutscenes.
Oh, okay, those are pretty good.
Yeah, well, they had the facial scan of the guy and everything, so Yeah, that was how it was, but the in-game stuff looks a lot better than it did from back then. Though the in-game Alan Wake doesn't really look like the guy that played Alan Wake as much as in the cutscenes and everything. It's kind of like a little jarring almost. When
No, I noticed that as well.
Yeah. So anyways, you're going through the forest and you hear this the bum that you hit or whatever. He's coming after you, but he's like talking about how bad of a writer you are and like you know, like
it's great.
You suck and how, you know, terrible of an author you are. And
yeah, he's chasing you around with an axe.
Yes. And basically it ends up being like, someone's helping you in your nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think the implication is it's like yourself, basically. I can't remember exactly what was going on.
I'm not entirely sure. And you have to try and you're currently going through this forest trying to get to this lighthouse.
Yes. Once you get to the lighthouse, everything will be good. And the whole thing of this game is like light sort of hurts the bad guys. So you'll shine your flashlight at them, weaken them, and then you can shoot them with a gun or whatever.
Yeah. Once you've dissipated all the shadow that surrounds them, you can shoot them with your gun.
Yeah. So, you know, you go through and then you work your way down toward the little dock, I guess, that leads to the lighthouse. And the ghost guy that was attacking you is like amping it up and he's like showering debris as you run towards the lighthouse.
Yeah, destroying all kinds of
Alan really needs to
things.
Work on his stamina.
Yes.
Like
he gets winded real quick.
And then it takes forever to recharge. But you know, you're running. Did you find the thermoses that were scattered about?
I found one thermos in this area. I don't know if there was two.
I think there was two.
I looked around, but I was like,
yeah,
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you get them or not. You get back in the lighthouse, and then it's like, oh, it was all a dream. I was having a night. Alan, you're having a nightmare, and your wife wakes you up in the car, and you're
on a ferry, little like 4-car ferry going across to Bright Falls.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. As I played it, I'd be like, oh, I forgot about this part of the game. Like, oh yeah, there's like, you know, there's a little billboard at the start where there's a QR code that I didn't scan. I
scanned it.
I don't think that was there before. I think that was new. What did the QR code do?
I just brought you up Alan talking about like things that are happening.
Oh, I wonder if it's like a tie-in for Alan Wake 2 or something like that.
I don't know. I can't remember what they said.
I did record this because I'm going to make it into a YouTube video, so I'm going to go back and scan it. But on the billboard there where the QR code was, there's like a picture of like a diving suit. You know,
the big like
this is like
diving suit.
It looks like a Big Daddy from BioShock or whatever. But then I was like, oh, I'm not going to say anymore. But I was like, oh right, okay, I know what's going on.
So you know what's going on. So while we're on this ferry,
yes,
we run into an old man who's actually the radio host.
Yes, which I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't realize that at the time because I'm sure when it was like. When I first played it, it was like, oh, he's the radio host, whatever. Yeah. And then I sort of like that information just goes out of your head. And then throughout the game, you're listening to radio shows. But this time I was like, oh, he's the radio host.
Yeah, he's the radio host. He recognizes you instantly as the Alan Wake. And you're kind of like, hey, he invites you to come on the show. And he's like, no, I'm not here to do anything about my books. I don't want to promote anything. I just want to have my vacation.
Just low key.
Yeah, just low key.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, I'll keep it under my hat or whatever.
Yeah. And then you're walking around, your agent calls and he's like, hey,
Barry Wheeler. Classic.
Need anything? You need me to come out there? I'll come out there right now.
He's like a total agent hype man, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Barry's been my profile picture on Steam since the day I started my Steam account, basically. I'm pretty sure. And there's also an army guy. Did you go talk to the army guy? He was at the back of the ferry.
I went to see him. I didn't think I could talk to him.
He didn't really talk to you. He just sort of had ambient audio where you sort of go up to him and he's just like, what you looking at, city boy? And I'm kind of just like, okay, this guy's a bit of an asshole. And then he said something like, well, we'll teach you a real lesson. And then Alan was just like, okay, then.
Yeah, I don't think I hung around him long enough to get those voice lines.
It totally reminded me. Well, you probably haven't seen this part of Tell Me Why yet, but like very similar ferry riding scene at the start of Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was very fresh in my memory just because Tell Me Why, I just edited the video and I was like, oh, this whole scene reminds me so much of Tell Me Why. A little less ominous in Tell Me Why, obviously, but yeah, it was very much sort of like looking around and checking out everything and seeing what. And the game, it looks good. They did a good job remastering it. Like the whole like coming into Bright Falls and you see the dock and you see the little deer float going by. I was like, man, this looks really good.
Yeah.
So surprising.
I didn't notice the deer float going by. No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I don't know if it was big or if I was looking away.
You might have been looking at something else.
Yeah, I might have been looking at something else. But it came up when it comes up later. I was like, deer float? What?
Yeah. Because he says later, like, that's the deer float I saw when we came into Bright Falls. Yeah, if you were looking, it was slowly moving by too. So you must have been looking at something else.
Yeah, could be. So when we got off the ferry, we need to go to the diner to pick up the keys to the cabin that we're renting. From Stucky.
Yeah. So this diner is just like the diner from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like retro 50s style. It's got the sort of U-shaped counter. The cop is sitting there. There's weird dudes. There's a jukebox, like the whole thing. And then leading down to the hallway, there's the woman holding the lantern. Like she's flipping the little light switch. Like, oh, don't go down there.
Is she flipping the light switch? I thought she was just standing.
She was like jiggling it, like peeking around the corner or whatever.
Oh,
maybe she wasn't flipping the light switch. It looked like to me she was
just like hunched over, like waiting to pee, but didn't want to go down the hallway.
She's holding the little lantern, the little oil lamp in her arm.
Is she?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't notice that. No,
that she totally was like the log lady from Twin Peaks. Anyone that's seen Twin Peaks like will know what I'm talking about. She was like holding the lantern like the log lady.
Huh. Yeah, it just looked like she was hunched over and waiting to pee.
Yeah, no. Well, she was doing that, but she was totally like saying like, oh, I've told her to fix the light and, bad things will happen and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But as soon as you come in the diner, immediately to the left, huge Alan Wake cutout cardboard standee. He's just like, oh, great.
And the waitress at the counter is like, oh my God, Alan Wake.
I'm your number one fan. I'm sure everyone tells you that. And he's just like, okay, cool. Thank you. I got to meet Stucky. And she's like, oh, he's probably in the bathroom. And Alan's like, fuck it. I'll go back there and talk to him. No problem.
Yeah. So this little part is actually in the preview for the game.
Yeah.
But it scared the crap out of me when that old lady comes up. So you go back, you knock on the door, you're like, hey, Stucky, we're trying to get out of here. It's like, who the hell goes into the bathroom to annoy somebody about the keys?
A bit of an idiot.
Wow. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a bit of an idiot.
I'm like, wow.
He's just like,
the audacity.
I think, well, maybe he's not an idiot, but he's just like an entitled celebrity type where it's like, hey, I'm not waiting around for you to take a shit. I need the key. I need to get out of here. But before... Just to say aside, there's the two old guys that were at the till or the diner there, and they're like, "Hey, did you turn on the jukebox for them?"
I turned it on when I came out of the bathroom.
Oh, when you came out of the
went
bathroom.
into the I went into there. I like hit the jukebox, and then nothing happened. I was like, okay, I think there's music supposed to play. But then I went to the bathroom, got the key,
and then you turned it on,
and then it came back out. And I was like, it would still had like a prompt to do something. So I was like, oh, I need to hit it.
Yeah. When I remembered this, but I didn't remember it. So when they're like, hey, I really want to hear the Coconut song. Like, can you turn the jukebox on? And I was like, are they really going to play like the Coconut song? So you hit it and it's like, you put the lime in the coconut, you mix them both. And I was like, oh yeah, it is really there. But those two guys, the cop or whoever's there, or the old lady, I can't remember who. Oh no. Who told you? Someone tells you that those are like two old rocker guys.
I think it's the cop.
Yeah, he'll say they escaped from their old folks' home or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, they're two old rocker guys. They had a band or whatever in the past. So, but yeah, we get the key. This old bag comes out and it's like, oh yeah, sorry, Stucky died or whatever. Here's the key to the.
I think it's Stucky's. My husband's at home. Yeah. Actually.
Oh yeah. And she's like, here's the key to the house on Cauldron Lake. And Alan's like, okay, thanks, you old crazy bag. I'm out of here. And then he goes out into the street, gets in the car, and the wife drives off. And then Stucky comes bumbling out like, hey, Mrs. Wake, you forgot the key. Like, oh, what key did they get? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh, it's getting interesting.
Exactly. So we drive to Cauldron Lake, and there's... Alan's talking about, how nice this area is. There's a little cutscene of them driving. These mountains in this area they look cool as hell, but they're not realistic for this area at all. But they get to the Cauldron Lake, this crazy cabin on this little island in the middle of the lake, and there's like a dock or whatever.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So
I'd go there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you climb back to the top, there's a prompt up there to look at the island, and you look at the island, and Alan says something about how like oh, I can see why it's called like Bird's Claw Lake or Island or whatever, because it looks like a bird's claw. And then you look and it's like 3 fingers off of the island and it looks like a bird's claw. But there's a thermos up there too. So you got to collect. Oh, that was the other thing. I can't believe they're called thermoses. Like, did they license the name from the Thermos brand to name these? Because like that's a trademark name.
I think it's that everyone calls them thermoses.
Yeah, but that's the whole idea, is they like protect the brand. It's not, I don't think thermos is like an unprotected name like whatever like other Q-tip? Ones. Is Q-tip not protected anymore? I'm not sure.
I think it's one of, I think it might be one of those things where thermos is
like, I don't in the lexicon like now. At my work, the only time we have thermoses are when they come from thermos.
Yeah.
Like when I get a regular thermos, it's never called a thermos. It's called an
vacuum flask.
Yeah, or an insulated like whatever. Yeah. You know? So maybe they have a deal with thermos or something like that, but nothing comes labeled as a thermos. So, anyways, so once you go back down to the island, you cross the bridge. And what did you do at this point? I should let you go first because I've played this before, so I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so I went into the wife's like, you got to get the lights on. I'm scared of the dark. Yeah. She's like really scared of the dark. Yeah, so I go inside, look around.
Into the house.
Yeah. Look around, try and find something to turn the lights on. And I can't find anything. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, "Hey, there's a cable coming out to this old shed. Yes. Maybe it's in there." So I go back out.
Yeah.
I go to the shed, turn the generator on.
Generator probably should have some weather protection on it.
Yes,
it was the world's rustiest generator.
Yeah, I don't know how that thing's still operational.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I just wandered around looking at things and outside.
Yeah. So I just went back to the generator. I didn't go in the house.
Yeah.
I just went back there and turned it on. Not because I was like, oh, this is what I need to do, but I just was like, I'll look around outside first. And then I turned the generator on. And as soon as I turn the generator on, it's like it cuts to like darkness, basically, like it's nighttime. Not nighttime, but like it's cutting the scene to go to the next section.
Yeah. Which
is when you go inside and Alan's wife is like, "Hey, Alan, come upstairs. I got a surprise for you." And I was like, "Here we go."
Oh, yeah.
But you go upstairs, and I didn't go into their master bedroom. I just went immediately to the cutscene room with the typewriter. Did you try to go to the other way?
I went to the master bedroom, yeah.
So what was going on in there? I don't remember.
Oh, she was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Just like, "No, you got to go to the other room.
Yeah. I just took the wrong turn when I got to the top of the stairs, so... Alan's a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, what an asshole. Like,
when you go into the room, there is a typewriter and a bunch of paper there, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you could, you could work out here,
whatever, and it'll be like therapeutic or whatever." And
Alan just loses it.
Well, she's also like, "There's a doctor here that has this book I read about
creative writing or creative cramping."
Yeah, whatever. And he's like, "Oh, you want me committed now, eh?" It's like, wow, Alan, like you are such a dick. So he like storms off, goes outside like, "Oh my God, my wife is just a fucking bitch," and all this stuff, And so he goes outside and he's like just moping around, and you hear the lights go off in the house, and you hear his wife going like, "Alan, help me! Oh my God!" And he's like, "Oh, my wife! I can't remember her name. My wife."
I can't remember her name either.
So he runs in the house.
Start with an M?
I can't remember. He runs in the house and looking around, and you can see... Oh, did you turn on the radio before you went upstairs?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a radio show we missed where the waitress calls into the radio show and is like, "Alan Wake is in town. Can you believe it?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I ran into him on the ferry. I guess it's out of the bag now." But anyways, when you run back in the house and you go outside, you see the railing on this little overhang of the dock is like busted. And you go to it, and Alan looks over. It's like, "Oh my God!" and like dives in the water after, I guess, her.
There was a point, I can't remember where it happened, but you're talking to her wife, and the lights start flickering a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
And then you see like a shadow figure behind you.
Yeah, that's right in the cutscene. When he's getting all pissy about her bringing the thing. There's like a brief millisecond where there's a flash of like, well, I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
And then she goes, the other thing too, is I forgot, when you're coming back to the house and the lights are out, the birds are attacking you. Did you get attacked by the birds?
No.
So there's groups of birds that are swarming down. You must have ran back in. They're swarming down at you, and you have to shine the flashlight at them.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just went straight in the house. No worries. I was like, my wife, I gotta go.
Exactly. So the railings broke. Alan jumps into the water to rescue her. And then he has a bit of a little... There's like little flashes and bits of... I don't know. You don't even know what it is.
Or memories or something.
But you see weird things. And did you see one of them was the guy in the diving suit was floating in that part?
I don't think I remember seeing that.
Yeah, there's this little flash of the diving suit guy there. So,
you jump into the water.
Yep.
And then you wake up.
You wake up
in your car.
Like, what? I'm in a car wreck? What? Say what?
Yeah. So you're like, now I don't know what's the real and what's a dream and stuff going on here. Cause you wake up, you got a bump on your head, bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah.
Your wife is no longer in the car. Don't know where she is.
The car's precariously hanging over the edge.
Precariously perched.
Yep.
So you get out and you're looking around and it's like, I've been in an accident.
My cell phone, it's not working.
Cell phone's not working. There's a gas station over there. I'm gonna go to the gas station.
I can see a light in the darkness. I better head that way to get the help or whatever. And so you head off to get some through the forest, and this is where we start to really get into the actual gameplay of the game.
Yeah, the gas station doesn't look like it's more than like 2 kilometers away.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's going to be a long way. And I'm like, 2 kilometers to walk? That's not that long.
Well, I mean, if it's as the crow flies, yeah, that's not too bad. But this is like you got to go down the hill and up
down
through
and
the
around
and everything like that. So it's a little rougher.
Yeah.
This is the actual starting of the actual gameplay and everything. But it's kind of crazy how it's like, I've got a gun now. I found a gun.
I found a flashlight. Yeah. So you're running down through the forest. You come across this forestry.
Very much Twin Peaks vibes as well, especially with they show the hotel on the cliff and they talk about the hotel that used to be a logging building or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like very Twin Peaksy, very Twin Peaksy.
So you're going through the lumber mill and you can hear Carl Stuckey taunting you.
Yes, and you see him, or you do encounter him first.
Yes.
He's like killed a guy, presumably. He's got his axe. Oh, right before this part too, I think it was right before this, we find our first manuscript page.
Oh yeah.
Which is telling the story of the story we're in as we play it, basically. So you pick up the manuscript page and it's talking about, I think this is the one where he's like talking about Stuckey's, maybe you find it right after. Anyways, it's like how Stuckey's axe was glistening with blood in the light and all this stuff.
Yeah, and he's talking about him. He's thought about writing this manuscript, but he hasn't done it, but his name's on it.
And that was the name I was going to use for the story. And, you're going to get to Stuckey, but Stuckey's also like, he's talking about food that he wants to eat. And like, he was talking about different hot dogs and stuff like that. It's very crazy what's going on. But you sort of weave your way through this thing, trying to find your way. And you get into the little like portable building.
Yeah. There's a little portable building.
So this is where I died the first time.
Oh.
So you go in the building and there's like a gun and you pick it up and you pick up ammo and flashlight battery and everything. You're getting geared up. And then he starts up like I don't even know what logging vehicle this is, like a skid loader or something.
Skid steer.
And he's just like smashes into the portal and like starts pushing it off the cliff. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I was looking down to where the thing was breaking, like the building, to see like, oh, where do I jump out? But the door behind me opened up. So I'm like, where do I go? And I just was like, ah, and I just died, right? So I was like, oh, I died here. Okay. So the next time I just ran through and I jumped out the back door and was fine. But I was just like, oh, I died here. Wow. Okay. But it was crazy when you jump out, you can still see the whole, building being pushed off the cliff and the skid steer goes over and it just looks really crazy.
So something must have messed up in my version because I was looking for the skid steer and it's like just sitting over there doing nothing. I was like, how is the building falling off? Like really? I imagine that the skid steer was what was pushing it off.
It was, yeah.
But it didn't move.
Oh, weird. Yeah, no, it definitely was that.
The cabin just sort of slowly slid off, and the skid steer didn't go with it. It was just hanging out. I was like, weird. He just nudged it a little, and it came off.
That's weird. No, he pushed it right off. Because then afterwards, you look down, and they're like, oh, where's Stucky? Is he dead down there, or what? So, anyways.
Oh, yeah, I didn't look down. I was like, no, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, so we continue on, and it basically you just, you get to, basically you'll fight these other logger guys where you have to shine your flashlight at them, break the darkness, shoot them a few times, they die.
Yep.
Or if you shoot them with the flare gun, it's like a bazooka. They just die, basically. So you go around and, you'll find more manuscript pages and more thermoses of coffee.
Yeah, and I should point out that there's little secret areas that your flashlight illuminates and like some kind of highly reflective paint, but it doesn't show up unless you're
point a little arrow to go to the left, and you go to the left, and there'll be an arrow pointing up, and you go up, and then there'll be like a little cache of ammo and whatever,
and
whatever. The other thing too, though, is when you're collecting the manuscripts, I forgot there was these manuscripts that have a little flame next to them, and I was like, oh, you have to play in nightmare mode to get all these pages. You can't even get them all in this medium mode that I'm playing on here. And the one other thing too is like, as I said, as I played, I'm like, oh yeah, there's like things I forgot about. There was one like little table or whatever sitting outside, and there's like a couple chairs, and there was a stack of like cans in like a pyramid shape, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of those around the game, and if you shoot them all, you get like an achievement or whatever. So I shot that down.
I didn't notice any cans stacked.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there's nooks and crannies. If you don't look everywhere, like you're gonna miss this stuff. But there's, as we go, Alan has more like discussions with himself about like what's going on and like what's happening. But the main thing is like, once I get to the gas station, I can make a call, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And then eventually with the manuscript pages, you start picking them up, and they're telling you about things that are going to happen in the future. Like I found one that said like, it's telling me about what the gas station looks like when I get into the gas station. It's like, I'm not even near the gas station yet. I found all the pages.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how many I found. I found a few.
I just found them all because
I didn't really look around too hard. I explored, but I didn't do like a super thorough exploration because I needed to get through it before I went to bed.
Yeah, fair enough. I did it before bed too, but I had enough time, so I knew I could mess about. So the other thing too is like fighting all these, fighting these guys and whatever. In a modern game, like nowadays game, there would be a prompt telling you like, hey, you're getting attacked from the back left. Whereas now it's just like, you'll be walking and all of a sudden it's just like, thunk.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's someone there.
Yeah, there was more than one time where I would just be like running along, minding my own business, and then suddenly a dude will just step out right in front of me, like, oh,
yeah, exactly,
what?
Exactly,
He's right there.
So you can always be protected by the light. So if you're like getting attacked and you just stand in the light, you're fine. Basically, the light is the big thing in this game.
Yeah, the light is good.
But there was like a few things where it's like we have to turn on the generator so we can do this.
Yeah, a couple little minor physics puzzles.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
Like turn on the generator so we can move these logs so we can walk across this gap and everything. Nothing too crazy. But once we get through, we finally get to the gas station, and the float's there, and Alan comments on the float. So you probably
that's when I saw the float. I was like, what float? I was like, okay, I must have missed something.
Yeah. And then you go into the gas station. It's been ransacked. You look around. There was like a poster about the fishing day or the Deer Days festival that you could read, see what's happening about that. And there was also, the other thing, I don't know if you did it. Did you watch the TV show of the Night Springs?
I don't think I did.
Okay, there's a TV that you can turn on, and it plays an episode of a show called Night Springs, which is basically like the Twilight Zone of this world. And this was about a guy who invented a quantum, I don't know what he called it. It was like a quantum suicide machine or something like that, where if the machine is running, he cannot die because it prevents him from killing himself in this dimension, but in another dimension, his other self would die.
Okay, I think I turned it on, but I didn't fully watch it.
So I watched it because it's kind of funny. Like you can tell they recorded like these guys. I think Remedy's in Sweden. I think so. They don't have the best English American sounding voices, so they recorded these like videos, but you can tell that they re-recorded the voices. But anyways, so it's on a little like postage stamp size screen in the game.
Yeah.
And the whole story is this guy invented this quantum machine that prevents him from dying. But a guy, he plugged it in like across the conference room. So some guy's like, oh, I accidentally unplugged this. Is this okay? And at the last second, like he's like, you know, pulls the trigger and kills himself.
Yeah.
But they showed this little quantum machine and you can tell they just made it out of like, it looked like a like plastic, I don't know, box.
Yeah.
But there's a PC fan that's vertical on it, just spinning. It looks so hilarious. Yeah, it looked just like a fan from a PC spinning. So it was very funny. But that's kind of spread throughout the game is this whole like, well, like Buddy on the radio is kind of like he's kind of like is his name Art Bell? Yeah, Art Bell did all the conspiracy radio shows, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the Night Springs, which is kind of like the Twilight Zone. And you got the hack horror writer like Alan Wake. And, you know, it's just this whole like, you know, sort of mythos they're trying to generate here, which is really cool. But anyways, into the gas station, the idea is we got to call the cops. So we call the cops. Up top, though, too, if you went to the left, there was a thermos way down the road. And if you ran down there, it gets into like the ghostly zone where you just keep getting attacked. They just keep spawning guys. When you're in like the little ghostly zone, enemies just keep coming. Yeah. So I ran all the way down there, got the furnace. I ran all the way down to the other end just to look around. Nothing down there.
I did less looking around at the gas station than I normally would, just because it was like getting super late for me.
It was
so
bedtime.
I was like, I gotta get through this and call it a night.
Yeah, that was basically. And so you make a call. This whole time, Alan's talking about how like I gotta call the sheriff, but I can't tell them I killed Stucky. She'll just think I'm crazy.
Oh yeah. Before we get to the gas station, we have a boss battle.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Stucky is like the Flash.
Yeah, he goes around like crazy.
Yeah. I did die here too because just the way the guys came at me, I didn't see the one guy and he sort of circled around behind me and he kept
I think I did die
smashing me. But the second time I was just like, well, I got the flare gun.
Yeah, that's all I did too. I was like, see you, Stucky.
Yeah.
Just blam.
The one thing I noticed though is if it kept changing my weapon automatically on me. I don't know how you're playing. Were you playing a controller?
Yeah, controller.
Well, I don't know if it's different on PC, but if I picked up flare gun ammo, no big deal. But if I picked up a flare gun, it automatically equipped the flare gun every time.
Yeah, it did that to me
so
too.
I'd be like, oh, I've taken this guy's shield down with my flashlight. Let me shoot him, and I'd shoot a fucking flare at him. So that's a bit of a pain. But
yeah, I noticed that I was changing weapons on me every time. So I'd be like, the hell?
Yeah, that was not cool, but whatever.
Definitely not.
And you found the shotgun as well?
Yeah, I found the shotgun. I found multiple shotguns.
I didn't actually use the shotgun, but yeah, you take out Stucky. It's like, did he die?
I don't know. Are we dreaming? I don't know.
You call the sheriff. The sheriff shows up and is like, what's going on, Alan? He's like, oh, I'm in a car crash. I don't know where my... Oh, the other thing, too, is we arrive at the gas station. And when we arrived at Bright Falls, it says, like, it's 2 weeks away to Deerfest. But when we get to the gas station, there's a sign that says Deerfest is in 7 days. So it's like, what's been going on for the last 7 days? So he's like, we got the cabin at Cauldron Lake. We disappeared. And she's like, there's no cabin at Cauldron Lake. And he's like, yeah, like I got the key. We're staying there. And she's like, no, since the eruption in 1970, there's not been any cabins there. So then she's like, okay, well, we'll take you to the Cauldron Lake and then we'll go to the police station, whatever. So you go to Cauldron Lake, no island, destroyed bridge and everything.
Yeah.
And there was just like, what?
There was definitely something there before, but now nothing.
Yeah.
Just gone.
So Alan's like, what? And then it's sort of like the end of episode 1 of Alan Wake. So a lot of questions to be answered, basically. Yes, like what's going on here? So yeah, I was stoked to play this one again.
Yeah.
I liked it just as much as the first time. The one thing I will say is that I think, unless it's the difference between like the monitor and the TV I had back in the day, it's way brighter now. Like I remember when I played it before, it was so dark. And all the time I'd be like, what the fuck is attacking me? This time, like, especially when I was walking to the house on Cauldron Lake, I was like, man, I can just see everything. So I don't know if I'm going to fire up my copy of Alan Wake and just see if it's just the remastering just brightened everything up or what. But
still pretty dark though. Pretty dark game. When you're wandering around like in the forest there, it's like still super dark.
Yeah. But it was, I think, even darker, unless I'm misremembering. So I'm gonna dig out my copy and put it in the Series X and see what it looks like.
See what it looks like.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly. But yeah,
so I'm gonna have to explore around a little bit more and
yeah, give yourself a little more time. Each episode is about that long, maybe
so
a little longer.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. You were saying like 2 hours. Or
yeah, this
like
was
that.
about an hour and a half for this
about an hour
one.
and a half.
But I also like you probably took less time because you didn't search as much, and also I watched the whole Night Springs episode, which is probably like 7 to 10 minutes long. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but
yeah,
it was long enough to I was sitting there like, wow, this is going on for a while. So
I'm doing something a little bit different on this game too.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not playing on hard. I'm just playing on easy.
Easy mode?
Yeah.
Not even medium
Not
mode?
even medium.
Wow.
Not even medium. I just don't want it. I want to be able to get through the game and get through the storyline beats without being bogged down in combat.
I mean, it doesn't ever really get that hard in Alan Wake. Easy's fine. Like I'm not, saying anything about it really. But I think I beat it on Nightmare as well. Because I'm pretty sure I went back and got all the manuscript pages, so
maybe it's because I'm old now, but I'm like, no, I just want to get through the story. I don't want to worry about a challenge. Like back in the day, I was like, yeah, give me a challenge. I'm not gonna play it unless it's challenging. It's too easy. I don't want it. But now I'm like,
well, this is. I mean, again, the gameplay is not like it's okay.
Yeah,
it's not like crazy or anything, but it's like more about the story for Alan Wake, anyways.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's not like when you're playing. If you were to play like The Walking Dead game, it's like it only has the one.
There's only one difficulty.
Yeah, like it's nothing too crazy.
If you choose the wrong option, you die.
Yeah, I mean, like when I started playing through The Last of Us, I just was playing it on easy just because I wanted to get through so I could play Last of Us 2 to see what all the douchebags were talking about. So yeah, but how you liking it so far?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good mystery.
Intrigued by what's happening.
Intrigued to find out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's there's still more character. Yeah, I mean Barry's on his way. We haven't talked to Barry yet.
Yeah,
in
haven't
person.
seen Barry.
He's crazy. There's also like other law enforcement people and different characters to meet still. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to still happen. I can remember a lot of cool set pieces where I'm like, damn, this was awesome. I cannot wait to do this again. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I would recommend anyone that wants to play along, they should totally do it.
You should totally do it. It is currently not on Game Pass.
It's not on Game Pass. I think it's only $29 everywhere, Canadian, pretty much. It's pretty cheap.
Yes.
If you have an Xbox or whatever, you can probably get a copy of the original Alan Wake for like a free. Like it can't be that expensive.
A free
price, exactly. If you can't play the remastered, even on I think Steam, you can buy the original version for like $10. You don't have to get the remastered.
$16.99 on Epic.
Yeah,
currently
for the remaster.
No, for the regular.
Oh, the regular
still like $32.
And the remaster's only available on Epic. You can't get it on Steam.
No, definitely can't. Let me check and see what the price is. Oh, it's already up on like as soon as I go to my store, Alan Wake. It's $17.49 on
There
Steam.
you go. It's pretty cheap, so you can
similar.
Definitely play along. Or you could tune into my YouTube channel the next day or two, and you'll just be able to look at the video. Next time, I'm going to try to get it out before the podcast. So if you can't play along, you can at least watch the video.
Yeah. That'll be a challenge.
Yeah, it sure will be. We'll see if it happens.
You can do it.
So I'm excited to continue on. I only played the one episode, and that's just like, damn.
Yeah, I only had time to play one episode.
So the other thing too is I think that going forward, what we did at the end of Game Club, we probably shouldn't do that. Like just wrap it up, just for people that are playing along with us.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have known that we were like, hey, let's just pound it out. Not that we even set out to just pound it out. It was just more like, I was like, okay, it's can't be much more.
Yeah, they can't be much more.
So, but anyways, there's no like short episodes in Alan Wake because every episode is like a TV episode. Like when you start the next one, not to spoil it, it'll be like previously on Alan Wake, and it'll give you a recap.
I figured it would have.
It'll give you a recap of what happened in the last episode of Alan Wake. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, very fun. Yes.
All right. Let's talk about something really important now that Game Club's over.
Okay.
Patreon.com/StreamVoidPod. We need your guys' help. We need a little monetary support. You need to throw some money at the screen.
Wow.
And help us pay for this thing.
Sure. I mean,
we do this. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to because we enjoy doing it.
Yes.
But it would be nice.
Yes.
Give us a little hand. And, if you get if we get that Patreon goal,
yes,
we will start another podcast.
Oh, baby. Exciting.
More of a less focused, more of a general all round, just
the dumpster
whatever.
Fire.
The dumpster fire.
Still trying to think of a good name.
Yes.
Of just the garbage can, dog water, dog's breakfast show we're going to do.
Yeah. Yes. Patreon.com/streamvoidpod.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.